my name's Courtney McKean. I am doing my presentation on forensic odontology and dentistry. So basically a forensic odontologist uses the application of dental sciences to help identify unidentified remains. So reasons why that a forensic odontologist would get called in is because sometimes things happen that make the remains unidentifiable from recognition, DNA analysis, or fingerprint analysis. And when that happens, usually because the teeth are the strongest bone in our body, those will be the ones that survive fires, car wrecks, any kind of natural disaster, terrorist attacks, anything when there's a lot of people, as well as the unrecognizable events. Most dental identification is pretty credible. There's not much difference between teeth whenever someone dies and whenever they're alive. So as long as you have something to compare to whenever that person was still living, assuming that they've been to the dentist and have dental records, then they can be identified through that way. They can also use different characteristics from your teeth, jaw, and skull shape to help identify race and gender. In order to become a forensic odontologist, you have to first be a dentist. So you have to be a doctor of dental science or a doctor of dental medicine. Once you get your doctorate in dentistry, you have to go through extensive training, and learn the techniques and methods of a forensic odontologist. So once you have the training, you still have to be certified by the American Board of Forensic Odontology, and you have to have so many cases under your belt, and you have to have experience before you can even take the exam to get certified. So it's a lengthy process, and there's not a lot of forensic odontologists at all, because of the lengthy process that it takes. So some of the instrumentation that a forensic odontologist uses is things like x-ray, amylogen gene, which can help determine, like amylogen extraction, which can help determine the gender, DNA extraction from the pulp of your tooth, which can obviously help identify through DNA. Ultraviolet lights, they can tell the difference between original teeth and modified teeth, and if someone has dental work, that means that there are dental records of them, and there's a better chance of them being identified. So there is a newer method that's gaining popularity, and it's called radiographic tooth and jaw identification, that uses the radiographic images. It's basically like a panoramic x-ray of your mouth, and a lot of dentists are using those now, and it only works if you have radiographic images taken of your mouth while you're still alive. So along with identification, age estimation is something that forensic odontologists do, that can help lead to identification later on in the investigation if something comes up. So the most popular method of age estimation is called the de Majorin method, and it uses the radiographic images to help basically like determine the age of your teeth. So whenever remains or a deceased person comes in who is unidentified, Each individual tooth will be analyzed for their developmental characteristics, and they will each individual tooth will have a certain score. Once all of the developmental stages of each individual tooth are developed, their individual scores will be added together, and they can calculate like an age estimation. Forensic odontologists also can use teeth characteristics and skull formation to help identify what sex an unidentified person might be. Like the natural shape of their teeth, like the crown shape and size, and also the length can help determine the sex of someone. Race identification is a little bit different. There is like the molars and cuspids are the biggest determination of racial characteristics in teeth. And the racial identification can be broken up into 3 specific groups, and they are the Caucasoid, the Mongolian, and the Negroid. Depending on your shape, size, even down to like how slanted your teeth are, you can get put into each of those 3 categories. So, for example, like the Mongolian have like narrower teeth, and they have what's called enamel pearls more often on their teeth, and that would classify them in the Mongolian group. Forensic odontologists also deal with bite mark impression cases. So this could be like an assault case, sexual assault case. Those cases see a lot of bite mark impressions because sometimes that's your only weapon. That's the only thing that can be used for you to get away from them with. And during sexual assault cases, like sometimes the abuser will bite their victim, whether to show dominance or for whatever reason they feel like they need to. It happens often. So forensic odontologists will often assist in sexual assault cases. Quality control and assurance for forensic odontology is not very specific. So basically, there's a lot of individuality to odontology, just depending on, like, basically it's described as an art. So there is the IOFOS, which is the International Organization of Forensic Odon Stomatology. They have put together a list of things that they believe will help improve the quality assurance so that there are no questions whether of the integrity of the field. So the first level involves detailing every single step that you take in the examination process, so there is no room for question. The second level needs to have clear and precise descriptions of each individual step that was taken. And the third level, and the hardest to implement, would be describing the exact measures and limits that can vary in each product, which is, as I stated before, can be really hard to do because there are different methods. So safety, this one, COVID, now since we're still in a pandemic, and one of the deadliest pandemics of our history, because it's dealing with the mouth, is really something that you need to be precautious about. So before collecting any samples from a decomposing body or remains that are found or anything, they all need to be properly sanitized, the entire body, before you take a sample. And when you're taking the sample, you want to make sure that you're wearing the proper protective equipment so that you don't come in personal contact with the body, just in case. even before COVID, bodies carry a lot of bacteria and diseases, and it needs to be sanitized before you are dealing with any sample from it. Once the sample is collected, then you would need to take it and disinfect it again. Of course, you want to use the proper disinfectants that are recommended so that you don't damage your evidence. That is all I have. Thank you.